We back, baby!
We did it. We apologise for that small technical difficulty. There was a small wire slightly unplugged.
But here we are.
A rocky start. Here we are.
And here you are.
Oh, you've come back. How
For
nice
another,
to see you.
for another
How are the
spoonful
kids?
of plum chutney.
Your medicine. You've got to have it.
Nice clearing up of the remote.
Thank
You look
you.
very unprofessional. Should
Well,
have,
honestly, this thing in front of me here, this says professional.
yes,
This whole thing looks quite professional.
That was one of the things that Ryan said. One of our many viewers of our last live one
many viewers
said that you have a lot of things in front of you,
I do.
and I have nothing in front of me.
It's true.
Perhaps that's telling.
So who
but
are
perhaps
you
it's
to
not.
tell me that I am not a professional? Fuck you.
I'm so
Fuck you,
sorry.
Sim.
Just
But first
forgive
of all,
me.
before we digress,
Yes, and we do digress.
Just present Plum Chutney. They sure do.
Beautiful.
They sure do. They sure do.
But how have you been, James?
You know, the world keeps rotating and on its axis, and me too.
One man works while another relaxes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, it's warm. It's
Oh,
hot,
it's so
hot
warm.
as it's swamp ass weather.
One might say it's as hot as balls. It is that hot.
My balls are constantly damp.
And no, that's a good thing. But do you ever find that when it's so hot, you feel this like pressure to go outside and do things and have a nice time? Do you know
It's
what I
awful,
mean?
but then you go outside and your
It's too
nose
hot.
starts bleeding snot everywhere,
Yeah.
and your throat itches, and then your ear starts to itch, and
That's
I've got it right now. Oh, it's just it ain't fun.
That's exactly how it goes.
It
And,
is how it
and then
goes.
when I'm inside and I don't have a place to go outside,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, am I wasting my life?
Mm.
Is that,
Oh, that's deep. Well,
do you know what
how
I
have
mean?
you been? Have you been feeling like you've been wasting your life?
Well, I don't know.
Oh my god.
But
This is-
you know what?
Find out on this episode of Plum Chutney.
I love it. Well, we had a surprise party for Amy Sands
We
this
did,
week,
we
didn't we?
did, we
And
did.
that went swimmingly.
She was surprised.
She was shocked.
She was
even.
like,
"Oh my!"
that's what she said.
We didn't even plan that. Very good, very good. Yeah, it was
what I'm here
it was
for.
Ireland themed, like
yes.
Ireland, the country, the Republic
Yeah.
of Ireland, not just an island, not just.
I would like
like,
that, and then someone
Gibraltar.
comes as a peninsula, and everyone's like, "Get out,
Get
get
the
out." Who do you think you
That
are?
was a good joke, Kat.
Thank
I
you,
enjoyed
thank you,
that. I
thank
enjoyed
you.
that very much.
I pride myself on my jokettes. Not quite worked
Yeah.
my way up to joke yet. But
One day.
One day we hope.
We made an Ireland themed playlist, and of course,
Ah,
the
you
hit of that
feckin'-
was Jedward.
Oh, of
Do you remember
course.
the days?
Everyone's favourite Irish export.
Indeed,
It's-
apart from the potato.
No,
I'm quite
thought you were
fond of the
gonna say,
potato.
Guinness, another famous one.
Guinness is famously
Guinness.
Irish. I can't think of anything
Struggle
else.
to name another.
Bono.
Bono. Oh,
Yes,
not-
he's Irish.
That's no one's favourite export. Ugh.
Who's another? The Edge. He's another member of U2,
Oh.
but he's no Bono.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
I like that name. I've not heard that before. It's
Do you
very,
remember?
it's very edgy, isn't it? Like
I get it. 'Cause it's
The
called The
Edge.
Edge. That's
the
too
edge.
good.
The edge of what?
That's too
What
good
is the-
jokettes within the first 4 minutes, Jums. I must say.
I haven't got the
You need to
dum-dum.
slow down. Do you remember that time U2 gave you all an album on your phone,
Yeah.
like for free,
And it was
you
the
just couldn't
most-
get rid of it?
And it was the most controversial thing
Yeah,
of
literally.
like our lifetime. You know,
Who was it who compared it to posting a shit through a letterbox? Do you know
I
what I
don't
mean?
know.
I don't know, but that's
that is
exactly
what
how
it
it
is.
was.
No, I think there was a specific app or something just to get rid of it. I remember there
That's
was
funny,
such
I
a
love that.
media frenzy over it. You know, maybe if we focus that much on the real issues, the world would be a better place. But
Ooh.
but here
I'm
we
not
are.
sure I'm ready for such a hot take this early in
I
the
mean,
episode.
I apologize. Well, should we move ahead?
Swiftly on.
Tangent to everyone's favorite time.
Oh my god. Nice. I like how you incorporated it into the music.
Oh, I always
this
do.
time.
I think I always do. It's just
Remix.
well,
The
so
remix
it's
to
Plum News.
Ignition.
It's 7:05.
I love that. It sounds so professional.
Like I need to do my. I can't remember her name. The one who always does like the traffic announcements for the BBC News. She's like, the time is.
Oh, I don't know her
7:05,
name, I'm afraid. That baffles me. You know when like the newsreaders go on like Strictly Come Dancing or something. That like who knows it? Who knows who the new reader?
But I felt like no, but she's like on every morning show going like the traffic in the M56 is you know her voice if you heard it, if you know what I mean. But anyway, our first headline.
James, what's been happening in the world today?
Here's one for you.
Oh my god.
death row inmates use recent abortion ruling to argue they cannot be executed.
Very good.
Which does
very
work,
good.
So that's actually something that's going through the legal courts. So everyone in most southern, like, what was it, Alabama? I think another one banned abortion recently. So every of the southern states, who are very pro-death penalty.
I just cannot. Let me just okay. So
yeah.
just to summarize this. So these states are pro having the right to take away a human life, i.e. the death penalty.
Of course.
Completely violating any human rights. Mm-hmm. But they are against somebody being able to kill something that is not alive and is nothing and is that big. Have I got that right? Have I got that right?
It's a classic case of wanting your cake and eating it too.
Yes.
I must say.
Having one's cake and at the same time stuffing one's face with said cake.
I was going to say it's the same metaphor, but this time with fetuses.
Yes. Having your fetus and eating it too.
You can't have your fetus and eat it too. Which I think is a beautiful metaphor we all can live by.
So what is the exact implication that would get them off death row?
Just that it says that, in the abortion law, this is a waste of life and any life is precious and should be saved.
No, I must say that is exactly correct. Yeah, no, that is just another case of fucking American bureaucracy tripping up over itself and having no fucking legal Oh my! Thank you. I was waiting for that. I was a bit
Should we move on to the next one before you start sweating bullets? Or I feel like we've covered that people should be allowed abortions. I know if I was pregnant right now, I'd get an abortion.
As would I.
As would I.
I've had an abortion.
Oh, how was that for you?
I mean, it was
a
solid 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
That's
a pretty high rating as far. Have you had an abortion? If you have, write in. Let us know. How was your abortion?
Have you ever been on death row? Did you get off by invoking abortion law?
Have you got any abortion tips or tricks for us? Please let us know in the comments. I read an article. This isn't a Plum News, but I just want to on the topic. If we're not,
I'm not sure if we can discuss a not Plum News. I'm only joking, Jim. Of course,
we tangent here.
We do.
That's the tangent one.
The tangent noise, I like that very much.
Hammering the tangent in, of course. And it was some woman who got in a fight with some guy. Yeah. Then she got shot in the stomach and she was pregnant. So she got arrested because she started the fight and is being liable for the abortion because it's her fault. She shouldn't have got shot while she had a baby, basically. What a bitch. And the guy who shot her has been let out because they didn't have enough jurors they couldn't find the evidence or the jurors to convict him or something. So she's in jail for it, but he's fine.
Do you know what?
Classic America.
I don't know. It's not even America. There are places that do things just as bad. But
this is America.
There are guns in my area, but there's just so little I can. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what to say, and this is where words and language fail me because
This is where we need action. Soviet action.
There's only one way.
Actually, to be fair. I'm sure in Soviet Russia.
You don't know anything about Soviet Russia.
Do you know what?
James.
I know little about Soviet Russia. I'll be the first to admit that.
Yes.
But I feel like.
Are you an expert on the abortion laws of Soviet Russia?
You know what?
In Soviet Russia, the abortion has you. You can have that one.
And that works on so many levels as well.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Because, famously, Stalin aborted a few of his own men.
Yeah.
Famously. Should we move on to...
But yes, onwards.
Onwards.
Oh, I'm so upset. I'm in such a bad mood now. I'm very sad.
We've had a turtle-themed news article before.
J'adore turtle.
So this one is Malaysian customs officials seize 5,255 turtles found in luggage at Kuala Lumpur. Is that how you say it?
That's the capital, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Say that again.
They found 5,255 turtles in some guy's luggage.
How big was his suitcase?
It's just a normal. They weren't giant turtles. There was a picture. There's just these tiny little turtles.
No, but still, you can't fit 5,000 turtles into a suitcase.
I think there was multiple suitcases. It was two guys. I reckon maybe two. Suitkai. Suitkai. Yes.
Suitcase.
Yes. We'll work that one out later.
So they just opened it and there they were.
Yeah, no, they were the turtles. I'm not sure if
So
like
had he
they put
gotten-
it through like the scanner and they just saw thousands
So
of.
was this on like, had he just taken his flight and then
He'd
he'd
just
got there-
come from
had he got-
China.
So he'd got them to the destination.
Yes.
So China let him take out the
Yes.
turtles, but Malaysia takes issue with the
Yeah,
turtles.
yeah, yeah. Well, apparently he
wow.
was going to sell them as pets in India, where they'd go for.
Why did he go to
Um,
Malaysia then?
I don't know. Maybe that's like the stop-off point, cheapest flights. You know, I reckon the
India's
security.
directly below China.
That's what it said. That the guy said
Yeah.
he could sell them for high profits in China.
Must have got on the wrong plane.
That'd be funny.
What a
He was
fraud.
like, not only have I been stopped at customs, got on the wrong fucking
To be
plane.
fair, if you had like 5,000 turtles, you could build like a fucking raft out of turtles. And,
Oh yes.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be a useful amount of turtles, I
You
must
know,
say.
you could-
One
you could
turtle, that's
certainly do a lot.
nothing.
Imagine all the things you could do with 5,000. I feel like we should make a competition out of this.
Mm.
Like, what could you do with 5,000 turtles?
Oh yes, write in and tell us what you do with 5,000
You could use
turtles.
them like, you could. You could use their shells to build something. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's
But,
true.
that'd
Like
be a bit
it'd be
nasty.
like the next Pog or something. It would really take off. They'd be collectible.
Yeah. I would love
Yeah.
that. Or you could.
I've heard turtles.
No, I think
are
that's
delicious.
pretty much all the things you can do with 5,000 turtles. I
Maybe
think
like
we've exhausted
turtle
it.
bowling.
Yeah.
Like I reckon
Or like
some
skin,
spin
like
action.
skipping rocks.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
turtles.
That'd be very good.
Yeah.
I'd enjoy it.
I-
And then after they bounce, you just see them get and they come back to you. And you can go again.
It's like a boomerang, but a nautical version.
Good word,
Peter's,
nautical.
thank you.
Very good word.
Peter's going to be on our back for that one. Should we move on to the next one?
Peter can fuck off. Peter's another. Oh my.
Peter is a knobhead. Everyone knows that.
Here's one for you.
Selfies now 5 times more deadly than shark attacks,
I love that.
and
so
that's
much.
from like the last 7 years. I
Is
think
that
they
because
said.
like people are taking selfies in really dangerous
Stupid
positions
places, yeah,
and they
yeah.
fall off?
Also,
Well,
but
it's-
if you think about it, people are taking selfies constantly, all the time.
that's true.
So it's only like people aren't usually swimming next to a shark. Do you know what I mean?
speak for yourself. Do you know what I mean? Sorry.
That's fair.
Do you know what I mean?
That's fair,
Just
you know.
because you're not swimming
yeah.
next to a shark, do you know what I mean?
I don't want to
Don't be a racist.
force my gender values on you, but I know that I.
Have you seen that funny meme? And it's not funny. It's just funny because
I bet it is funny.
It's
don't
funny
tell a shark.
because all the people who sell it, all the people who share said meme are like the warriors.
Armchair admirals.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And it says like, sharks do not infest waters; they live in them. And like, whilst whilst I agree with the sentiment,
Yeah.
it's just
It's kind
funny.
of more of a
It's just-
marine term than anything else,
It's
isn't
funny
it?
watching all these girls with fringes like this and nose rings share them saying, ugh, do you know what I mean?
it's like
do you know what I
David
mean?
Attenborough says that. That's kind of just like the term they say, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
like
yeah.
people are going, oh, get the sharks away from us,
Yeah.
infesting our waters.
Absolutely. But
Dirty sharks.
Where's the most dangerous selfie you've taken then, James?
I took one. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I actually went to Colombia. And
Colombia?
I took one. Off,
wait,
Where's that?
That's in South America.
and I take it you stayed in a hotel the whole time.
the
whole time.
In fact, no, I did not. Record scratch.
What?
I went through the jungle, and the jungle was really chill.
And I
Like
t-
that, yeah,
The
people were
jungle
like,
was great.
people were like, "Oh my god, don't go there!" Like everyone's got machine guns and all the animals through the jungle. There'll be cheetahs and zebras on fire, and oh my god, it'd be terrible. Literally,
That's pretty much how
most
I
of the
imagine the
animals
jungle.
that I saw that went. There were some big spiders that were like, "Ooh, don't want to get
Yeah,
that near
yeah.
me." And a few bugs and stuff, but most part it was just
You have,
cows
like, all
and
your
chickens.
Ebola shit,
And,
so you see, that would terrify me the most because I have a deathly phobia of chickens.
well, it's not like the.
I
Well,
couldn't do that.
well, I've owned chickens and I don't find them very scary. There was
Yeah.
there was a couple of stray dogs that followed us along the way,
That sounds
um,
adorable.
and yeah, no, it wasn't very. But like a couple of times we were very high up, and I took a selfie, and I looked down and was like, "This is high up. I could potentially fall down here."
Yes, and die.
I've heard when people fall from great heights, occasionally
From a great height.
they die.
Yes.
How about you? What's the most dangerous selfie you've taken?
I'm going to ignore that question and just talk a bit more about how I hate chickens.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Like, we wanted to go to India for a while. And I still do. I really want to go. But I'm terrified because there's such a culture shock in India that, like,
Yeah.
you could get on, like, a taxi or a bus and people just get on holding live chickens. Do you know what I mean? And honestly, I cannot think
Couldn't deal with that.
of
Yeah.
anything scarier
I know how
in
that's
the
your nightmare.
world. Like, literally,
You're gonna have to get a pet chicken. Like,
Why?
Well, it's like
Why?
you know when.
Why do I have to
Well,
do that?
if you-
Why do I have to do that, Jims?
Well, you fucking listen to me.
Okay.
It's like you know when you not from personal experience, but okay, there's a family raising a kid. The kid is scared of dogs,
Yeah.
and what do?
They get a dog.
They get a dog.
No,
And
but
do you know what?
I-
He's
I-
not scared of
No,
dogs
but
anymore.
I don't want to like chickens.
No, but I'm just
I
saying.
don't want to.
I'm just saying, if you had extensive one-on-one time with
Why
chicken,
would I buy an
you'd
why would
realise
I-
they're not as
why
scary.
would I buy a chicken? Buy all the expensive equipment to go with the chicken. Feed the chicken. Raise the chicken like it was
mean-
my own son.
I mean-
Well, I don't even want to like chickens. This is the most fucking ridiculous
I'm
idea.
just saying-
Shut the fuck up. I don't even want. I hate. Fuck off.
First of all, chickens are like £5.
No, but
Not
to
very
buy, then I have to
expensive.
buy a cage.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Well, I'm just saying maybe you need one-on-one time with the chicken, and you'll learn that they're not that scary. They might peck
Yeah.
at your
No,
shoelaces
but
a little bit.
I don't want to like them.
I'm just saying that this. I mean, if you want to go to India, but you
Oh,
can't
yeah. Oh,
because
shit,
of chickens,
yeah.
that sounds
Oh,
like
you might have had a
that's,
point all
that's
along.
when
Oh,
mental
no.
illness is
Oh,
affecting
no.
your.
Oh,
And it is an illness.
I feel
Um,
suffering from similar. But do you know how I've told you the story multiple times of how that phobia came about, but I haven't told the
Do you know what? I don't remember it, so please tell.
Well, I was 1 year old, or maybe I was older or younger.
That's a good year.
I was about one, and I was at the farm. You know,
Oh, the farm.
the farm. You know,
We all know the farm, yeah. The farm.
There are chickens regularly at the farm.
Famously,
and you know how
they
just
exist at
like
the
I
farm.
don't know. They don't let just the pigs walk around, but
No.
they let the chickens just walk around the farm like they fucking own the shop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why don't they let the cows do it? Stupid fucking farm people.
Because cows are a bit.
Yeah, I wasn't asking you. I was
Okay,
just, it was a rhetorical question, Jim. Just thank you. I'm sorry, that was a bit aggressive.
That was a bit
Okay,
aggressive, but you know,
and then-
you're talking about a trauma, right?
And like,
here, so I forgive it.
I was a
Trauma.
It rhymes with farmer the way you just said it. A trauma. Is that because my trauma was on the farm? Is it a trauma?
Oh.
Is that it? Is
Yes,
that,
that's it.
Very
Yeah,
good. Is that
yeah.
nice?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad I explained it because like I don't think the people would have got it otherwise.
No, I mean, you know, it was more of me just pronouncing it more of an American way, but
Yes.
you know,
But
whatever.
so yeah, there was a herd of. I was with my nan, and there was a herd of.
Nice lady.
There's a herd of angry chickens
Mm.
running at my nan,
Oh right, okay.
and my nan, in all her infinite wisdom, she was also scared of chickens. Just threw me in front of this herd of angry chickens. Yeah.
Wait,
And then-
sorry. I need to rewind a bit. I need to get to. Like, I don't really remember this story. You must have told me a while back. I don't remember it, but I'm excited. Let's dive into this. So, what was your nan doing that summoned this chicken horde to her? What did she
just,
have, like a
we
bag
were
of
just-
seeds
we
or?
were on like a path, and like there was a corner, and
Right.
then just it was like the earth shook, and like around
A
this corner,
stampede
and
of
around this
chickens.
corner, my nan always tells me
Okay.
like just round this.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I
So
mean?
it didn't really. They were more running away from something towards you.
Yeah,
It seemed
well,
like
that's
okay.
the same
okay.
thing.
No, okay. I'm just.
Don't belittle my
I was just
trauma,
wondering.
Jims.
No, I was just wondering why these chickens had decided to attack
Oh, yeah,
your
they
nan.
were
I
running-
was just trying to
Oh, yeah.
understand the story better.
They were running at my nan.
Mm.
Like my nan was. So the chickens were running from this side. My nan was here. I was here,
Mm-hmm.
and they were running. And my nan and she just threw me in front of the chickens, and then I fell over.
Oh, no.
Because the chickens just baffled me,
Oh.
and then the chickens like stampeded me.
Oh no.
And then my nan, I don't know where my nan fucking was at this point. I don't know. She was like trying to shoot the.
She's fucking booked.
She was just like, Sam, I'll come back.
He's
for
gone now.
I
The
know.
chicken's got him. He's a chicken boy now.
Yeah, I'm a bit upset. I didn't get like superpowers from it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
If this was like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and I had such crappy explanations
Yeah.
for superpowers.
Oh, I
like,
would
do you know
love
what I
that.
mean?
though,
Like,
like,
I'm chicken
has-
boy.
he has the amazing ability to lay an egg.
I lay like egg bombs or something. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
That would
yeah.
be that good.
Yeah, just
But,
like an egg for every occasion.
yeah. But since then, I've just hated chickens.
That's fair.
forever and always.
Honestly, like that does sound like a traumatic event, and
Oh,
they say that you know, like under 5 is like when all of these sorts of fears and phobias and you know everything up here really develops. So you know, I can understand that, and
I do
think
hear that they say that.
they do. I have heard that they said that also.
Yeah.
So I believe that all we need to do is get you in a room with the chicken. Maybe we'll do it for a plum chutney special.
Absolutely
Get
not. No.
some
Do you
in a
remember
room
that
with the
time
chicken.
that we were at your old house and I was on the toilet
Yeah.
and then you went outside and you came in and you were like, Sam, I've got a chicken outside. And I just wouldn't come
He
out
wouldn't come out.
and you didn't have a
I
chicken.
had to
because-
FaceTime him and show up, down, round the corner. He was like, okay, now check behind that door. Okay, now go upstairs. Yeah, there's no chicken there either. Okay, yeah, I think. And then still it was like 2 minutes and then he was like, okay amount. But I think maybe for like one day when Plum Chutney's a multi-media empire, we'll do like, okay, we'll someone, if we donate like 20 grand to charity, we'll get you in a room with a chicken for an hour.
Yeah.
Because I think you couldn't deny it if it was that good of a cause.
That can be the thing, so a good cause, or like you've been looking for a reason to like do something. Yeah. But no, if we raise like money for charity or something, like if we'll start GoFundMe, and like if people do it, I'll fucking be in a room with a chicken.
That sounds incredible.
Do you know what are worse than chickens though?
Go on.
Fucking turkeys, because they're just big fucking chickens that go.
I can understand the being afraid of a turkey because they're quite a bit more vicious. Like chickens, I see as like cuddly fellas. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Do you know I used to think we're majestic and beautiful. And now I think of pricks.
Gooses.
Yeah, because...
What, really?
Yeah, because I used to walk past a geese or... Is a geese and a swan a different thing?
A goose and a swan.
Yeah. They're different
yes,
things, right?
I'm pretty sure. Does a goose become a swan?
I don't know.
Like, does it go into a cocoon?
A geese
and then
white.
Is a beautiful swan.
A geese white.
No,
it's just
they're like black and grey.
Yeah, but they hang out. Yeah, okay.
They hang out, but we hang out with like dogs.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so well, swans and geese hang out with like basically.
Well, is a goose
as far as I'm concerned, they're the same animal because they act exactly the same.
No, swans are like can be vicious. Like there was a. Sorry, tell your story.
Yeah, no, well, okay. Well, I think I'm talking about swans anyway.
No,
but I used to think swans were beautiful, eloquent creatures.
Yeah.
And lately, when I walked Frank in Birkenhead Park, by the way, I went to Birkenhead Park the other day, and 3 people stopped me to take pictures of my dog.
I love it.
And I was like, oh,
he is a beautiful boy. He's a
it's okay. We get it all the time.
Go follow Frank the sheepdog on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
But sorry, carry on.
So I walk Frank, and Frank looks at this swan or this geese or whatever, and he's quite like. Oh,
why do you keep saying this geese?
This geese.
This goose.
How do I reach these geese?
This goose.
Because I like these geese.
Goose.
These geese.
These geese.
This goose.
Yes.
Or this swan.
Or these gooses.
These goosei, as they are referred to.
Guys.
And they turn to him and they go,
oh, fucking God.
And Frank doesn't know that means go away, and Frank like goes up to them further, and then they just go. That's
I never want to see that face ever again. That's the face I imagine that Danny Rushton sees like of a night time when you're like.
That's my swan face. One day,
that's me when I'm becoming a beautiful swan.
The lights will flicker off, and you'll turn to me, and I'll just go. It'll be incredible. So yeah, so I've started to think they were a little bit vicious. But anyway, should we get on to the next? No. Sorry. Go on.
No, in fact, yeah, we'll move on.
We'll move on. Are you sure? You seem quite reluctant.
No, it's fine.
This is our last Plum News.
Our last Plum News. Oh no.
Here's one for you.
U.S. government blocks League of Legends in Syria and Iran amid escalating tensions. And what were they doing?
Sorry, say that again.
So they've banned League of Legends from Iran and Syria because of all the drama, all the hoo-ha.
Oh, this makes me so mad because like there are 2 sides to the drama. Do you know what I mean? Why haven't they banned it?
There's always 2 sides to drama.
How has America done such a good job of portraying itself as the victim and Iran as the perpetrator? Do you know what I mean? Oh no! Literally, if you had a list of the fucking crimes of each country, America would be top. Do you know what I mean?
And they've not been. No, actually, I don't think they will be top, but surely, just because they've not been around that long. I think if their atrocities from the times of existing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that would be.
Or like the percentage, like the density.
Yes.
But like literally, it's just because they're white. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like literally.
Check your white privilege, America. Iran and Syria want League of Legends too.
Yeah, it's like
what are they going to do now? Go play Dota. Dota sucks.
Wow.
So does League of Legends.
Well, I don't know what Dota is, but Jim seems mighty passionate about it.
That was
it's a nota from me.
That was a joke. I'm sorry, Dota.
A joker. Sorry, I
well,
must stop
League
all
of
these
Legends,
jokes.
I thought was a dead game, but is the most popular video game on Earth, and it has been for like 15 years.
This upsets me. I mean, I only played it once, and I didn't care for it. I must say.
I watched that video when you played it today.
Yeah.
It wasn't very funny. It wasn't as funnier than.
No, well, we're older and wiser now.
Yeah,
Our sense of humour is more refined.
It is. Yeah.
I don't think it's just RuneScape. I love RuneScape though.
And that's the end of Plum News.
I mean, I wasn't finished with my points about America.
Well, we'll go on.
But you know what I mean? No, it doesn't matter anymore. Do you know what I mean? I was just. It doesn't matter. Sorry.
Well, that was one for you. I hope you enjoyed that.
That was a good one for you.
That was a good one for you.
So do you have any burning issues you want to bring up quickly, Jim, or anything?
Burning issues.
I have
don't
a
really
few
have.
things that have been on my mind
well,
that I just want to get
go
off
on.
my mind.
Go on, get them off your mind.
I just want to get it off my mind.
You get those things.
I just want to get it off my mind. So, I'm just going to talk to you all about my life right now because I feel this is a safe space where I can share what's bothering me, what's upsetting me recently. So I think it's well-known knowledge that me and my job don't get along too well.
Famously so.
Unless you are my employer watching this, in which case,
Thanks, boss. Love you.
I'm going to be here forever.
This is the greatest job in the history of jobs.
And yeah, so they're making me go on training next week. I don't know why I'm going in this because it is training. It's called sales fundamentals because it turns out I'm not very good at selling things, which is just baffling because I'm selling myself to you
when
so
you're
well.
trying to learn things, what you need is the fundamentals.
Yeah. So it's in a place called it's in a very middle class place where I hear lots of middle class people are from called Wilmslow.
It does sound
Wilmslow.
Very middle class.
Wilmslow. And I have to go there each day next week. They asked me if I wanted to stay over.
Sorry.
Very nice.
I'm so sorry.
That's solid
Just
7
didn't
out of
hold
10.
that in.
And they asked me if I wanted to stay over. I don't want to stay over. So I'm going to have to do 45 minutes there and 45 minutes back every day. But the good thing about this is my work pays expenses. And they give you like a £15 a day food limit. £15 a day food limit.
Big KFC.
Well, so I thought. That works so well. Okay, so I thought. So there's a guy in my work today who lives in Wilmslow.
Yeah.
And obviously my question to him was it wasn't even a question. I was just I was bantering with him.
Yeah.
And a very middle class gentleman, of course, because he's from Wilmslow.
Of course.
And I was like,
an impression of him.
Well, mate.
He sounds really middle
And
class.
he's one of those people who has like the top 2 buttons undone.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Ooh.
no, the top 3 technically. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my.
And it has
One more, I'm pretty sure that's a hate crime.
Like a bright white shirt with it tucked in. Do you know what I mean?
He sounds hot.
Very well ironed. Do you know what I mean? We get it. You own an iron. Amy Sands bought me an iron. Love you, Amy Sands. Thank you for that iron. I haven't actually used the iron yet.
Wow, how fucking ungrateful are you?
Well, no, she gave it to me early because she needed to use the iron.
That's not good.
Do you know what I mean?
That's not good.
Women.
But,
But,
ironing
sorry,
things. That's classic women.
What was I talking? Oh, yeah. So I was like, so he was like, "You're excited to go to Wilmslow?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just figuring out what I can get for bang on £15 for Mackey's." And he went, "Oh, there's no Mackey's in Wilmslow." so my first.
Now, first of all, no, I don't believe it.
Yeah,
Anywhere you fucking go,
that was the first thing I said. I was like, I didn't realize
what
there was
kind of backwards ass.
I didn't realize there was a location left on Earth that did not have a
They
Mackey's built onto
unpopulated,
it. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh no. And he was like, oh yeah. Well, I was like, where's good to eat? And he went, well, there's this lovely little restaurant called like some middle class like Jorginho's or something.
Fuck
do you know
off,
what I mean?
Jorginho's.
They do a very nice pizza. And I was like, no, fast food. And he was like, oh, there's a lovely kebab shop. And I was like, sir, I want some big brand fucking fast food chains. And he was like, oh, there's none of them in Wilmslow.
Oh, man.
And he went, well, we're very middle class in Wilmslow. And fucking cunt, do you know what I mean? Like, no fast food chains in Wilmslow. And I was like, so not only do I have to drive to Wilmslow every day, there's no, what am I going to do for lunch? Where am I going to go?
I don't know. There must be like a subway, or does it need to be strictly in Wilmslow?
Do you know what I'm going to do?
Anywhere else?
I'm going to Google fast food in Wilmslow right now.
And we'll get back to it.
No, literally.
How
can? What do people do with their time?
Honestly,
do you know what I mean?
am shocked. I'm appalled.
When somebody says like, "Do you fancy fucking?" Do you know what do they do? Where do they go?
There must be something. I don't agree with it. Do you know what I mean?
Literally.
It just can't. It can't happen.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is
You're gonna order something from Wilmslow right now.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll type Wilmslow into Just Eat. Can you do that?
I don't think you can do that. I think you're gonna have to just go to Wilmslow.
Oh, it's okay. I'm on fast food in Wilmslow now, and
what have we got?
We haven't got any fucking. He was right. There's no fucking.
Nothing.
No, we've got fucking jamming Pizza
what is
House.
Going on? Student's got a work trip, expenses paid, yet there is no Mackey's there.
Wow.
Isn't that terrible?
That is terrible. So literally, Pizza Roma, Verathana, Pizza and Grill.
Ooh.
I don't know any of these.
That is not a chain. Is there a Spoons?
Well,
You're gonna have to.
even want to
You're
ask.
gonna have to go there, and you're gonna have to make it your mission to find something that you can spend that £15
That
on.
I
Because that's a pretty expensive meal deal. Do you reckon you could just get shit on it, like get like a cheap bottle of vodka from like Lidl or something? Be like, yeah, this is my lunch expense.
what I'm gonna do
Like
is
see the
like,
accountant go on it and go.
I might just starve myself in the day, and on the way back, I'll just get a fat Marquis for £15 a day, and then just get them to give me the money back.
That sounds good. I agree indeed. Yeah. What else have you got in your mind? I've got a video.
You got a video.
A very
I
exciting
love
video.
A video.
Oh,
Give
I
me
hope
this
you're ready
video
for this
right
one.
now.
Right.
Here is Sky of Ash. Hello, friend.
That's Ryan. Hello.
Fuck you,
You're in
Ryan.
chat.
Love you,
How you
Ryan.
doing?
Mwah, mwah.
Video.
I'm very excited for
I
this video.
hope you're excited
So
for
give me
this.
a brief little.
Okay, so
background of
you
this
know
video.
that song that I quite like. It's that country hip hop song. I don't think it's very good, but it's pretty catchy.
Oh,
And I
hate this song
caught
so
this little parody, this little ditty. It's got about, I think it's got like a couple hundred views, so it's quite an internet gem,
I'm
quite
very
hidden.
excited.
And it's just beautiful.
Oh,
so
I'm so
I
excited.
hope you're ready for this one.
Before I watch this, someone's like, fuck you, Ryan.
Fuck you, Ryan.
Oh,
You ready?
wow.
You excited?
I'm so excited.
You excited? I hope you're excited.
Do I need to have seen the video?
Well, I'm gonna ride on down to my vapor store. I'm gonna vape till I can't no more. I'm gonna ride on down to
And
my
that's me.
vapor
I'm gonna vape
store.
until I
I'm
can't
gonna
vape anymore.
Vape till I can't.
This combines
no
your two
more.
favorite
I got
things
the
in the
feds up
world.
on my
Ooh.
back. Flavor bands attached.
Ooh.
The judges weighing in. I don't think we're gonna win.
Oh.
The
Why
is
Democrats
Judge
they
Brett there?
force
Why is
it.
Hillary Clinton
Republicans
there?
and
He's
don't.
talking about how the
Now that
politicians
I'm
in
a
America
vapor,
aren't
I don't
supporting
think
vaping,
that I'll
it's how they have the
support
smoking
it.
industry.
Ain't gonna
It's very
find
deep
me
for
smoking.
Oh my god.
Ain't gonna find, ain't
Are these the
gonna
kind of girls you
find
get if you
me.
vape?
Ain't
Ain't
gonna
gonna
find
find-
me
I can only speak from personal
smoking.
experience.
Ain't
Yes.
gonna find, ain't
Johnny Roasting will be
gonna
thrilled to hear
find me. 500,000 deaths a year. The evidence,
Oh,
it seems
this is
quite
just-
clear. Cigarettes, they are to blame, but the tax money is too insane.
It's
too
such a
good.
shame
I think
that
the
honestly, like,
Matrix,
poets like
Morpheus
are
won't save us.
I know.
Stop smoking
Poets
or
like
you're
this
gonna
don't
die.
have
This
more
is something
views.
I
you
know.
just can't
Can't believe-
deny.
This
How
should
do you
be
find
viral.
this thing to
Find
combine your
me
two favorite things of vaping
smoking.
and this song?
Ain't
Well,
gonna
of
find,
course, I was
ain't
hanging out in a
gonna
vape
find
stream, as I
me,
often
ain't
do,
gonna find me
and someone paid to be like, hey, check out
ain't
this. And I was
gonna
like, that
find,
sounds so
ain't,
fucking
well, I'm gonna ride on down to my
Isn't this
vapor
great?
store.
I hope this guy like actually paid these
Vape
girls to
till
be
I
in this
can't
video.
no
No,
more.
they are
I'm gonna
definitely
ride on
stock
down
girls.
to my vapor store.
Oh, the
I'm
vape
gonna
in the back. Do you know, I'm actually
till
quite
I
impressed with the
can't no
special
more.
effects level, if you know
Ride
what I
on
mean. It's
down
pretty.
It's very
to
good.
my
It's just-
vapor
it's just high
store.
budget
I'm
shit.
gonna vape till I can't no
How
more.
are you in the feels? Like, very emotional.
Do you have
right there.
goosebumps? Isn't that
Literally.
incredible?
Ryan said fuck you. But that
Something
was
like it.
oh no, that's sad. Like at the end,
He's like, oh no.
that
no.
upset me. So be honest with
Because
me.
to be
which one
fair,
do you
vaping
prefer?
is being banned left and right in America. It's
Do you
pretty
prefer
that one or do you prefer
the OG.
the OG? Be
The
honest
OG.
with me.
I think I prefer that one, to be honest. It's just that,
Absolutely.
like, that's such a gem. I love that. I love it. I've watched that like 9 times as well. And how do we follow up that? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Honestly, there's no way to follow up that.
what else have you been doing? What?
Oh,
Hit me with something?
honestly,
Just as you said that.
Yeah.
my jaw started hurting once
Oh.
more because I feel
So bad, just moving so swiftly on
from this video because
Oh, no.
what a beautiful video that was. But my wisdom
Yeah, but you're
teeth,
speechless after it. You're like, I just
true.
don't know what to say.
my wisdom teeth have been coming through at the moment.
Oh,
Can you
no.
believe such a thing?
Oh.
And I was baffled because I thought,
All your teeth came. I thought like
That's the
Very good.
pain that it
Very good.
causes.
I thought like all the I lost my train of thought because
that's
I'm in
okay.
so much pain.
Oh,
I thought like
dear.
I didn't have to deal with this anymore. But
Oh shit, I realised I'm on the wrong screen.
look at
I'm
this
so
guy.
sorry.
Jims, I can't believe you.
Well, I wasn't apologising to you, I was apologising to the viewer.
We have
There we go,
very
sorry
many
about
impressionable viewers, and to them, we are
Uh,
very sorry.
This is poor video etiquette. I hope you do not copy it.
Yeah, but I didn't realize this was a thing that I had to go through, and I can't eat on this side of my mouth. It hurts. I wake up. I'm like, ah.
It's so funny because some message me going, "Oh, my wisdom teeth is the worst." The
Yeah,
worst.
absolutely.
And recently, I've had this like ticking here, this ticking pain, and I've gone, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" And then I felt, oh, and sure enough, it's my fucking wisdom teeth coming into him.
Literally.
So,
and I
actually,
said,
you know
this is like the male version of our period singing.
It's exactly
you know
like
what
that.
I mean? It's
But you know what
literally
I
that.
think it is?
What I'm
I
excited
think
for
it's
this.
all the sheer wisdom that we emit during this podcast, all the hot takes, all the fucking, correct opinions in the world.
Absolutely.
Just
We are in the
our
correct
mouth, our
opinions.
jaws have not
Yeah.
been able to handle it. They've been sprouting out full force.
Absolutely, they've been growing literally fucking more teeth.
Literally
Do you know what I mean?
fucking
I
more
didn't-
teeth.
I didn't think I could get more teeth in here. Didn't you say your auntie still has a baby tooth
She
as
does
well?
still have a
baby
tooth.
tooth.
How old is your auntie?
Tooth? She's like 38. I don't think
Relatively
she's
young
getting
auntie,
her
That's mad. She must take such exquisite care of her teeth.
just that one tooth. She must do. I'm not very good at taking care of my teeth. I've not been to the dentist in 6 years,
6 years.
and I'm not looking forward to going to the dentist
That doesn't really.
because it costs money.
It does now. Although
I think it
in
always
my
has.
new work, there's a thing called Medicash or something like that. It was in my old work as well. That that's the thing
You
that you
get
can get.
dental?
You can get it to pay for. Is that dental? I don't
That's
know.
dental.
I mean, like it's only like. I say, is it like £19? It's quite expensive, to be fair.
That's not bad. Like Danny
often
went
are
for a
you supposed to
checkup, and
go
it was
for
like once a year, I think, unless there's problems. Danny went for a checkup. It was like 60 quid.
Really? Is there like a law enforcing this? Can you be attacked for not going to the dentist?
No.
No, really?
No. But once you're with a dentist, they'll
Yeah.
call you back every year. So I'm off the grid, and I don't want to get back on the grid. 'cause
They'll
then I
call you
know-
back and be like, you have to come
It's
in.
ta-
Are you,
No,
are you
no.
in like a contract?
No, but they'll just call you up and be like, "Hey, we need to get you in for an appointment." And then if you don't come, then
No.
the next time you see the dentist when something's gone wrong, you'll be like, "Oh, you should have fucking come in when I told you." And
I
you just
hate
can't.
that.
He
I hate
doesn't
that.
make you, but
And
just
they
by
sit there all
guilt
smug.
and
It's like-
passive aggressiveness.
Vile.
It,
I don't think I've never been to the dentist for a thing like that is a thing. Do you know what I mean?
No,
Only
neither. A
for
procedure.
yeah, only for like a checkup, as it were.
checkup.
Do you know what I mean? What are some dental procedures that people go to the dentist for?
Like a filling or
How-
like.
Yeah,
Are you trying to
that's
work
what-
out if it's a con?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like people go to dentistry school for like 7 years, don't they, or something?
Yeah,
and they're
something
paid
like that.
paid like £1,000
Yeah.
just to clean people's
But
teeth.
then I guess
I've
they
never
do. Well, no, I think they
been
do a
like-
bit more than that. Like, to be fair, if you've got any problem with
Do
your
you
mouth.
have any proof?
No, but one time I went to the doctor and there was something wrong with my gum, and he
Yeah.
was like, "No, lad, can't handle that.
Oh,
That's on your
really?
dentist."
Is that like where their spheres of influence end? It's like,
Yeah.
It's like the mafia have like the state lines, you know what I mean? Until the next one.
This
comes,
is as far as I can take you. You must travel alone or with your dental practitioner.
My dentist, I thought for years he was Australian,
Oh, right, okay.
but then one day I found out he was not.
Well, where did you get the
And it was a
Australian
very
from?
sad-
Did he have a boomerang on his
No,
wall
he just talked with a funny accent, but it just turns out he's from like the south or something. No,
Classic.
no, wait, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's
I'm sorry.
Australian. You know what? We'll never know.
We'll find out next
Unless
time.
I go,
Go
to
back
the
to the
dentist. Again,
dentist.
but I'm not gonna go to the
I
dentist.
watched a small documentary on the Emu Wars recently. Have you heard of
The
these?
Emu Wars.
Emu
Is it-
Wars,
did you
yeah,
think
yeah.
Australia, Emu,
Emu.
very good?
Yes.
You see how
Well, it also
the webs we weave. You know what I mean?
the tangents we create.
Yeah,
The
go on,
friends
tell
who
me about
make
the
along
Emu
walk on
Wars.
the way. Well, basically,
I make no friends along the way. I ride solo,
after like
alone together.
the Great Depression and
Especially
shit,
not Ryan.
that
yeah.
echoed on to Australia because Australia was mostly an export land, from what I gather,
Of emus.
and no one was buying shit.
yeah.
So then they
When
were
was
in
this?
hard
Sorry,
times.
at what point in life in the timeline?
Do you know? I
of-
don't know the exact time. Should we look it up? Because I wouldn't want to.
No, you know what? I don't think it's that important.
I don't think it's that
I don't think
important
anybody will quote us
either.
on it, but you know.
But I didn't want to just guess.
I love the emu thing.
1932, and
good.
basically the gist of it, as I got, was as this: there was farmers trying to farm, and then shitloads of
Farmer's gonna farm.
farmers going to farm what they
Farmers gonna
like,
farm, yeah.
and then every so often,
Yeah.
there was an emu population of about 20,000.
I love emu.
and they
Do you
just
say
come
emu?
Emu.
I like.
emu,
Well, isn't it fun to say emu?
emu. Emu is pretty funny.
It sounds like
And
you're.
that's-
It sounds like you're like a computer cow. An
and-
emu. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. And it's one off email.
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 Emo. Oh yeah, it is one off emo.
That is true. So
Emus.
yeah, basically
Sorry.
these fucking emus came and ate all of the farmers, crops, and they were like, "Fuck." So
Oh my
then they
God.
went to the government. They were like, "Hey, I can't do an Australian accent, so
I
I'm
can't
just
wait
doing
for
my
it.
angry one.
Do it.
Hey, fucking get rid of these emus." So then this one guy was like, the head of the army, and he was like, I will be your savior. I will go and I will ruin these emus. So they went out
You keep saying emos.
I said emo.
Oh, get rid of these emos.
Kill
I
these
feel like
emos.
The emo war is a war that is coming, but sorry. We'll
Oh,
get
I
to that
can't wait
later.
for the emo war.
Which side will you fight on?
I'm gonna have to see the rosters on each side.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
pick my side. You know, see their points. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean? Absolutely.
Yeah. And so yeah, they were like, let's go kill these fucking emus. So then they went to the emus with machine guns. They shot at this herd, and then they all ran away. And they killed
the
two.
emus ran away.
They killed two.
2 emus.
And this was one of the battles in the war. They killed 2 emus.
So
and then they were like, shit, that was
So in an event called the Emu War,
Well,
2 emus died.
Well, this is the first battle. The emus won the battle, but they haven't won the war.
Okay,
So
sorry.
then they try again.
Yeah.
They try and sneak up this time.
Who did?
The
emus?
army. The
Oh.
army tried to sneak up in
Oh,
the
the
emus.
emus?
Yeah. Obviously, the
How good
emus
sense of
the
hearing
entire
the emus have?
I don't know.
Are they
Obviously,
like dogs?
In the entire time, they're plotting and they're like, the
'Cause
humans are coming.
When I think of emus, I think of them moving that. I'm just going to take these off because I can't do it. Just like moving the heads like a meerkat, you know what I mean? like,
Yeah.
So, like, I imagine they're very different.
Well,
to sneak
apparently
up
they
on.
snuck up on them, and then after killing about
I don't believe
4,
What? That's so
both of the
nasty.
machine guns they were using jammed. So again,
Both of the machine guns they were
the
using. I love it.
emus, you know, reigned, you know, supreme.
Yeah.
Then they kind of went back to Parliament and they were like, okay, you have used this much resources on this stupid emu war, and you have killed 7 emus.
That's so
You should
stupid.
stop. And then,
I love it.
the farmers came back and were like, but there's still emus. And he was like,
I can't live like
well,
this.
damn it if I won't try one last time. And that
I'm not a quitter.
this approach was they got someone in the back of a car with a mounted machine gun, and then they drove to the emus and they followed
That's
them
so
around, machine
aggressive.
gunning them down. And then they said they killed about 2,000.
Do you know what? That would be an incredible idea for a game. I would love that.
to kill some emus, or
Yeah.
or like a multiplayer game when you can like
One of you
pick-
plays the emus
Oh,
and you have
yes.
to escape the guy who's
Yes.
the.
or like
Oh my
if
god!
all the
This
emus
is.
come
Can
together.
we? How
and
is there a verbal copyright on this right now? Do you know what I mean?
trademark?
Literally. Put,
That's hot.
Because it's a hot idea.
Literally.
So that's our idea. So if anyone gives,
I would definitely.
if someone gives us £1 million, you can have that idea.
no. If someone gives us £1 million, we will make that idea. We will make that idea. We will hire somebody to build that idea, and we will just
Be a
do
lot
the,
of work.
We will overlook the oversee it all. Do you know what I mean? We'll be like a movie producer where they don't actually do anything. They just kind of say, "You do this, you do that."
I
you
don't
do
really think an emo would do that.
that." An emo.
I said emo.
No, and then I want to make
Emu.
The follow-up to our very successful Emu War game will be Emo Wars, and that'll be a
Emu
lot
2.
because they'll be carrying like knives and
This-
they'll just be really sad, like fucking Conor Robards music playing, some sad like fucking. It'll be really funny.
What's his name?
Oh, he sounds good.
The little kid, the 17-year-old kid, Elliot.
Elliot Smith.
Yes, Elliot Smith will be playing.
Is he? He wasn't 17. Well, he was once.
Well, I think he was like 17 when he started doing music, wasn't he?
Was
and then
he?
I thought he killed himself at like 19. Did he not?
I don't think he was 19,
Was
but
he not?
he had a very. Good is not the word, but a very good suicide. I'm just going to Google when he died.
What do you mean? How did he do it?
He stabbed himself in the chest multiple times. If it is Elliot Smith you're
That's a
thinking of.
pretty badass way to go. Was he on something?
He was very into his drugs. Was Elliot Smith? Elliot
That's
Smith.
classic.
Death
Elliot Smith.
age.
What's he like?
No, he died when he was 34.
Oh shit! For some reason, I thought he died when he was.
Oh,
I
you
must be
you
getting
might be
mixed
thinking
up
of
with
somebody
someone
else.
I must be
Yeah.
getting mixed up with someone else.
But Elliot
Um,
Smith is very, very.
Well, that's what
sad
the
boy.
emus would listen
Like,
to.
that is-
But anyway, and then so they brought the car around and they machine gunned them to death,
Yeah.
and then they killed 2,000 of the 20,000 emus, and they declared it a victory.
that's not a victory.
But really, we all know that the emus won.
That's so stupid. So when people go like badger culling, could they call that like a war, the badger war?
I don't. Well, because this was the army. This
Yeah.
wasn't like people just doing it. Apparently they introduced a bounty system that kind of worked.
Oh, that's so funny.
But the real fix was just better
I would
fences.
love it so
you know what
much
I
if
mean?
they
Just
introduced
fences
that.
that they can't get over.
I would love like a Red Dead style game based in like old Australia in like the outback,
Oh yeah.
where like one of the like side missions is if you every emu you bring in you get like 500 coins or something. Would that be?
Incredible. A
that
whole
is- oh my
emu,
god.
Cryptocurrency. It'd be
Emu
incredible.
cryptocurrency.
Do
I would literally.
you know what
love
I
that
was
so
gonna
much.
say?
Is it to do with the Emu War?
It wasn't. But
Well,
have you got
then
more to say on the Emu War?
I don't, but I want to have something to say about it because I don't want to just
Oh, that's
dance
so
away
well,
from the Emu War.
we'll,
No, it's
we'll
okay.
come
Tangent.
back to it. Maybe
Okay.
there'll be more reading.
What were you gonna say?
So there's only 267 days left till Animal Crossing, and I am
Very excited.
very excited for Animal Crossing.
I need to buy a Switch first. I need to.
Well,
I
you've
feel
still
like
got 267 days, less until Pokemon comes out.
yeah, that's what I mean. Because I feel like when I see the Switch now, I couldn't get a Switch and not play like Zelda and the Mario and what other good games have been on it? Smash.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
good.
I feel like I very much see it as like those
Mario
are the
Party.
prequels leading up to. Do you know what I mean? Now,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
feel like if I got a Switch, I'd have to play through all of them first.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like I just can't find the time. Do you know what I mean? I'm
I
still
mean, I
trying
find
to
it better
the time
with a
to
handheld
complete Spyro,
because you can
yeah.
hang out with your bed,
Yeah.
and she's doing woman things, you know, ironing,
Oh,
washing up, making me a fucking sandwich, am I right?
Yeah, it's very good.
And I'll be doing manly things like having pint and watching football. Speaking of football,
Do you know what's really funny? Sorry, we'll come to
Sorry,
football
okay,
because
yeah,
I love
yeah,
football.
yeah.
But
we're like 5 tangents deep at this
yeah,
point.
okay. So we've got Animal Crossing and football to
Yeah,
come back
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah.
But speaking of ironing, Amy Sands, while she bought me an iron, she has not done any ironing for me yet. And so, like, every morning I have, like, a shirt that hasn't been ironed. And because I just can't be bothered ironing. And I have this, like...
Did people say to you and work, go like, oh,
No.
need an iron, son.
No, well, I have this mad fear of, like, if I use the iron and then leave it after I've used it, that I'll come back and the flat will be burnt down. Do you know what I mean? So what I do is I take Amy Sands hair straighteners.
Right, okay.
And I lay the shirt out flat and I kind of go...
That's incredible.
Do you know what I mean? Across the shirt, and it works every single. It doesn't look as good as it does if I had, but do you know what I mean? I don't care. I don't care. I don't respect the people in my work. So
That's fair.
Oh,
That's
that
fair.
was. So doing me.
Whoops, cut to break. So anyway, Animal Crossing or
Yeah.
football.
The point of that,
Speaking
by
of-
the way, was Amy Sands. 2 more ironing for me,
Fucking
please.
sort it out. Amy Sands is not good enough. Danny Rushton does all my washing. I've not washed clothes in the last 2.5
That's
years.
so
It's
good.
incredible. New clothes that are washed
I'm
and
so
fresh.
jealous
just
of that
appear
because that
for
sounds
me.
like such an efficient system. Whereas me and Amy
She's
Sands
really on top of
Me and
it.
Amy Sands are as lazy as each other, so it's very much a system of we wait a few weeks until I have worn every single T-shirt that I own twice,
Yeah.
and then we just throw a few things in.
No, that's
and
how
do you know
I
what
used
mean?
to be until Danny Rushton came into my life. And
Danny
when
Rushton.
Danny,
Round of applause
when,
for Danny Rushton. Very good.
when
very
Danny
good.
Rushton says there's washing to be done, like
Yeah.
it needs doing.
Danny Rushton's
I'm
a very
pretty sure
organised
my
individual.
wardrobe's mostly full. Like I've got
That's so
plenty to
good.
wear. Do you know what I mean? So
That's so
I've
good.
always got my pick of the drawers, as it
I'm
was.
very jealous of you.
So sorry. Speaking of football, isn't there a football tonight? Famously, is there not a football tonight? Is there an England game at some
Oh,
point?
that's that's the women's football.
Oh, it's
thing.
women's
Wait,
football.
Wait. Let me
That's
check.
not real.
I don't know. I don't know if that's.
Look, I
I
think
don't know if that's tonight. But
Amy Sands says, "Fuck off, iron your own shirts."
love you,
Thanks
Amy
for that, Amy.
Sands.
We love some
no.
the
Do you
the
know what I
razzle
mean?
dazzle.
Do you know what I mean?
Put them in his place.
I have a Y chromosome, and therefore I'm incapable of ironing my own
yeah,
shirts. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, that's how
No,
it
but
works.
the Women's World Cup is on right now. Yes, it is England versus Norway today at 8 o'clock. And what are your opinions on what are your? Do you know what? Because
My opinions.
when it comes to when I was
Well,
going
you
to say
know
what
I'm
your
a huge sporting fan.
I was gonna say what. Because all I see all the time is I follow a lot of like football pages on like Facebook, and they are honestly, whenever any of them share a women's football thing, like you'd think in 2019 we're at a point now where people would just respect like it's just people playing football. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but it's absolutely absurd the amount of people, and there is a correlation between these people because they are football fans. Do you know what I mean? Football fans are just so fucking. I don't know if they're insecure about like being men.
Women going off
Do you know what I
doing
mean?
things that I want to
Literally.
do
But
because I wanted to be a footballer.
but literally, it's and something does need to be done because all the comments. If
they just
they
really
put,
toxic?
no, they'll post a woman thing and a woman's football thing, and I'll go straight to the comments, and the top comment will be like, "Stop trying to force this agenda on us." Do you know what I mean?
How dare you play the sport that
Yeah,
men were born to be
literally.
playing?
It's how can you force this agenda on us? And it's not anywhere near the quality of the men's. And who says they should get paid the same? And I just can't like. They obviously just have the tiniest brains in the world because I can't comprehend.
I think
how
there should be an allowed cross. Like if there's like, I don't think it should be the men's league and the women's league. I think that if there's a woman who is good
Yeah.
enough to be on that
No, of
level,
course.
I think they should get her in there. Do you know what I mean? And like, I think it's different than things like you know, if it's like say it's UFC or something. And I feel like there's a bit of a difference between a woman and a man in UFC just from, you know, biology. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely,
Of like,
yeah.
you know, how easy it is to gain muscle as a guy and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I feel like as football, and I'm not, maybe someone would argue with this, but I feel like a woman can be as good as a guy at
Absolutely.
football.
And if there was a difference in like the quality of men's footballers and women's footballer right now,
Yeah.
it's because women's football has
Not the
football
money.
has not
Yeah.
had anywhere near the investment in the training facilities,
Yeah,
in the coaching,
billions of pounds.
has not had the
spent,
money,
yeah.
and how people cannot see that there is a correlation between the fact that women's football has been so laughed at and subjugated over the
Yeah.
years, and like if there is a drop in quality from that, do you know what I mean? Like you're so stupid, like. They don't get paid.
Talking to you.
Obviously, like, they don't get paid as much, obviously, because you get paid on what the business brings in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like men's football is like very popular
It's
right
the
now.
one
But I do think bringing women's football into that would definitely do something for it. If women's football had the investment, as I say, that men's did,
Yeah.
it would be. Wow.
And I think it should.
This is
'Cause why not?
another solving the big issues for you. You're welcome. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
That's hot. So anyway, Animal Crossing.
There we go. We're back. We back.
We have 267 days till Animal Crossing.
Oh no.
And
What date is that?
That's March 20th.
March
But I'm going to
20th.
pre-order it and hopefully get it. There's a company that say, if you don't get your game on time, we'll give you your money back and you can keep the game. So they always send it out like a day early. So you always get it like a bit early.
Nice.
So I'm going to order it with them. But I was thinking, I've got 267 days to think of my town name, my island name.
Good amount of time,
I think I've got it.
Okay.
I really want to call it
Do we,
Labour.
no.
Do you want me to hint you? Laban's round.
I get it. That's
But
very good.
I'm worried that that's a bit, offensive. But do you know what I mean?
No,
It's
not
what I
at
want.
all.
I want living space. Do you know what I mean? I demand
as a history
the Rhineland.
graduate, I confirm. I enjoy that very much. And
I'm
can't
so
you
glad.
expand it as well?
I
Can
think
you do
it's a
that?
big island. It's like a
Yeah.
lot big. I think it's bigger than the GameCube one, which was famously the biggest one. I've seen like
Really?
hours of people like circling every bit in the training. Go, if you look here, you can tell that the paw prints. You can tell
Oh
that
my
the
God.
sheep no longer just have to wear scarves. And oh my God, you can tell
That's
this place that
literally
you
so
can
exciting.
rotate furniture on it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Honestly,
everyone's, like,
the
great
funny.
with
I
that.
think the funniest thing in the world would be now though if you waited 267 days and you just got it and you were like, this is shit.
Shit,
Do you know, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone as hyped for a game in my life as literally since the day I met you probably 8 years ago. You were like, I'm just waiting for the next Animal Crossing. You're,
Can't
like
wait.
you're consistent.
It has been 10 years
Like, you're
since Animal Crossing.
You're consistently in a state of just waiting for Animal Crossing. Do you know what I mean? And I love that so much. Wait, when was New Leaf?
No, I think it's when it comes out. I think New Leaf was 2012.
Yeah.
So when it comes out, it's 8 years,
8
which is
years.
basically a decade.
That is basically a decade. That is.
But
That is.
I can't wait.
Oh my
But I'm
God.
just so excited.
No, it's going to be crazy.
gonna
What are
be
you going to call? Can you call your character? Or are you just going to call it Jims, or do you give it funny
Probably
names?
Jim's. I'm going to be a black villager because you couldn't be black before, so this is historic.
I like that.
So I'm going to be black.
Nice, very
and
good.
It's going to be good. You can choose from 20 skin colors, gasp.
I love that. But
I'm just so excited.
I love that. Like when you're playing Pokemon, did you used to give your Pokemon stupid nicknames as well?
Oh, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Of course.
Like I remember I tried to call them all after famous dictators once,
Mm.
but they wouldn't let me call them Hitler or Mussolini.
sad.
But they would let me call one Stalin, which is
Well,
peculiar.
yeah,
Do you know
that
what I
is
mean?
peculiar, like- Obviously, according to Nintendo,
Yeah.
Stalin did nothing wrong.
What's
So-
that about Nintendo?
And
There's definitely a thing there.
Nintendo
That's
famously
something that
quite,
Nintendo-
kid friendly. One thing that I've not understood: have you seen the Nintendo Labo stuff?
No.
No.
Is
So-
that the building stuff?
Yes, so that's
Yes.
you build shit with cardboard. So you build like a
Yeah.
keyboard, and you go blah 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 blah, and you play your song.
But,
That was
sorry,
the-
what do you go?
blah, blah, blah. Well, actually, what's what on
Do it
songs?
again, yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
I was actually, I was thinking we might get this outro this week.
yes. Well, I have it.
Oh.
I just don't have my guitar.
Oh,
so
do you-
we'll
do you
have to
really-
wait till next week. Haha.
Because as I say, I can just grab a MIDI from anywhere on
No,
the
do you
internet.
want to know the
and take-
title of it?
Go on.
It's called A Spoonful of Plum Chutney.
Oh my.
That sounds incredible. I can't wait.
That'll sound
I'm
great.
excited for that. Okay, well, I won't rush you on that. What was I talking about? Sorry. I know it's gone from my mind.
Stalin.
Stalin. We talked about Stalin. Pokemon, yes.
Nicknames.
Nicknames.
Yeah, we're going backwards, I feel,
No,
rather than forwards.
nothing's coming to me.
Outro music.
Outro music.
Music. You're talking about music.
No, it's gone. You interrupted me and you ruined it.
I didn't interrupt you. You were the one who interrupted yourself. You tangented too hard.
Oh no,
and
sorry.
Now we're here.
I remember.
Oh, no.
I'm here.
Oh,
I
my
got it.
God.
I got it. I
Very
got it.
good, everybody.
So they've got the Nintendo Labo, and you've got the keyboard. You go da 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 da.
That's how we
And then you've got like the fucking gun, and you shoot it. And then they've got Nintendo Labo VR. Now this is
Tell me more.
This is a piece of cardboard. It comes in a sheet. You fold up this piece of cardboard, and then this holds your Switch as you attach it to your face and swing your head around, looking at VR things. And I don't know who the fuck can trust a £300 piece of equipment in their fucking
That's so
attached
funny.
to their face by
Literally.
a thin layer of cardboard.
How many times have people been like looking up and it's just like, when you're sitting over your phone and it's just
It just falls off.
literally. Are
instantly.
you going to get a picture of it up now? I'm very excited. Oh my god, it's
playing.
playing. That beautiful song is playing again.
Vape Town Road.
I'm so excited. Going back to Pokemon nicknames, do you know what my favourite... Do you remember when we played Sun and Moon against each other a few years ago?
Oh,
Do you remember my Skarmory, which was nicknamed Zinger Fries? Because KFC were doing Zinger Fries at that moment. And they were some fucking good shit.
Good Zinger Fries.
Oh my god, is this
Zinger Fries, motherfucker. No, this is some guy talking about Nintendo Labo VR.
Well, you want
I just want
what's the word?
a visual representation, really. Yeah. That's
oh
it.
my god! So you've got like goggles to look at it through.
Yeah, but it's just cardboard. You know what I mean? And I just personally, I don't trust this with one of my most expensive pieces of equipment.
I don't think I'd do that.
No.
I'd have to have like some blue tack, like plug in the holes. Do you know what I mean? Or,
Yeah,
like,
it just
some
to me,
duct
it just looks like the most untrustworthy piece of equipment I've ever seen in my life.
I couldn't do that.
No, none of
I'm very much somebody who doesn't trust anything. Like when I have my guitar strap, I have to put like proper duct tape over the strap because I've got a horrible fear that it's gonna do you know what I mean?
That's sad.
It's very, very
It
sad.
does sound like a chronic fear.
It's almost as bad as my fear of chickens, but not quite as bad.
That's a pretty fucking bad fear. You've got to be fair. Like, what are you gonna do?
So speaking of Hungarian racists,
Oh,
I saw Marcel this week. Hey Marcel.
And he is quite
Love you.
racist.
He's not a racist, but I just thought when we start. What? Who said that?
He's just got some right-wing views, but that's to be expected from a socialist upbringing.
My friend,
that's a bit
aggressive on socialism. I'm not
But
sure.
I love
like
you,
that.
Marcel. Does Marcel even
Marcel-
subscribe to the podcast?
Marcel hates socialism. Well, he said to me, "Have you started a podcast yet?" And I was like, "Marcel, we're 10 weeks in. For God's sake,
Where you been, Marcel?
Marcel.
We're on 11 now.
Yeah.
1-1. All of the ones.
But my point was that when we
Yeah, go on.
when we eventually get our third microphone,
Oh yeah.
and I imagine somebody will go like here maybe.
Yeah, we'll probably reorganise that.
Yeah,
thing,
and I was
yes.
thinking we'd absolutely need to get Marcel on.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I just love it. I love his opinions on. I want him to talk to us about what's wrong with Hungary because it always comes back to the gypsies. You know
Those
what I mean?
pesky gypsies.
And would there be anything funnier in the world than Marcel just telling us for an hour gypsies are shit? Do you know what I mean?
I once had a geography lesson and it was an hour-long explanation on why the term gyppopotamus was offensive. And honestly, that lesson has carried me throughout my life.
That's so funny.
Now I know.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. And then we can talk about because Marcel's girlfriend is Chinese, who famously now ruled by the Communist Party. And
Famously.
And Marcel was obviously brought up on the wrong side of the Iron Curtain. So he
The wrong side of the Iron Curtain?
well because so I love socialism, but there was a lot of cutthroat policies at that point. You know what I mean? That has led to decades since of economic hardship, and do you know what I mean?
But, But I
So-
love the term Iron Curtain. It's a good one.
It is a good term. And when I use it, I feel very knowledgeable. Like, right then, did you notice I moved closer to the microphone? So I was like, Iron
That's
Curtain,
my
do you know,
history degree.
my,
Don't know if you know about
Iron
that.
Curtain. Yes. And so basically, both of them hate socialism, and as a result, hate. I'm going to say it. They hate Jeremy Corbyn.
That's wrong.
But we here in the correct opinion sphere know that Jeremy Corbyn is an angel sent from heaven
to say, but
to wipe up this mess of a world.
I was talking to my mum's boyfriend, and he was
Oh,
like,
right, we got it. Your mum has a boyfriend.
oh, yeah.
My mum has a husband.
Oh,
You're at their wedding.
well, why are you trying to one up my mum?
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I
Whatever.
mean? My mum's trying her best. Do you know what I mean?
No, I love you, Emma Brown. Will I be invited to her? I don't think I will be invited
I
to
don't
her
think she's
wedding.
going to get married again. I
Really?
think she did that. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
she's
Just
over
like,
it now. Yeah,
it's like, I
that's
did that
fair.
once.
That's fair.
But anyway, and he was like, talking about Boris. Like, oh, what do you think of Boris? And it's like, oh,
Just
don't
great.
like
Just
him,
really
but
great,
he's
yeah.
going to look a lot better next. It's going to make Jeremy Corbyn look a lot better next to him.
Of course, yeah.
And he was like, oh, no, don't like Jeremy Corbyn, as anyone over the age of 25 says. Or like 30 maybe.
I'd say about 30 now, yeah, because we've got a bit older.
Yeah. And yeah, so I was like, why? Let's dive into this.
Why?
Because do you know what I love? And no one will do it with me, but I love a good debate, a good political argument.
No, the thing is, if I tried to have a political debate with my family, they all either, one, just walk out the room and go, Sam, don't bring up politics, do you know what I mean? They do that, yeah. Or they go to, like, oh, my Nigel, I love UKIP and that, and they have no actual points to deliver to me, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, in the Daily Mail, the statistics said this.
The Mirror told me to vote for the
Do you know what?
racist
I heard a really good quote the other day,
Go on.
it's really seen me through.
Oh,
Okay,
wow,
it's
okay.
if you don't understand both sides of the argument, you should not be arguing.
That's so true.
And do you know
And
what?
that's why,
Isn't that very
that's
true?
why I like arguing with people a lot of the time,
Absolutely.
is because you're trying to understand what they
Yeah.
think. But anyway, he was like, don't like Jeremy Corbyn, he won't stand for the national anthem. And he doesn't like the Queen, and I'm
Fuck
like,
the
who,
national anthem.
fucker? Do you know what I
Literally.
mean? Like,
You know what I mean? Oh, so he thinks for himself. You know what I mean? Oh,
yeah,
oh,
like,
look at that.
like you don't trust him because of that. Whereas if he really wanted to be trusted by you, he could just stand up during the national anthem, be like, yeah, do you know what I mean?
He doesn't blindly love the rock that he was shat out on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
He questions authority. But then my mum was like, quick topic change. Like,
Yeah, literally, mums do that all the time. I have an uncle, Gav.
oh,
Hi,
classic Gav.
Yeah.
Gave me a wave on Facebook.
Yeah, I remember.
Returning the favour.
But I remember once I think it was Christmas, so to be fair, it's probably right. I brought up like politics, and Gav was like, "Okay, I'm out. I'm walking out the room." Do you know what I mean?
But
was like,
I
cool.
love a good argument, and no one will ever have it with me.
No,
So
it's very
if
true.
you want to argue, just
I heard the fun
call me a
rumor.
bell and below, and I'll get back to you.
If Amy Sands and Ryan are still there commenting, argue with us. Do you know what I
Argue
mean?
with us.
But I had a good rumor about Boris
yeah.
recently.
Go on.
That I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that if he does get in, that immediately a motion of no confidence is going to be filed. So he's going to spend like less than 24 hours as prime minister,
That
and
would be
I
so
would
fucking funny.
love that.
Well, yeah, because
so
as I
much.
said, it's the same problems we had before in the Conservative Party, where they're
Yeah, of course.
massively divided.
100%. Yeah.
And I don't think like the hard right actually voted for like Boris voted for no confidence in Theresa May, but I don't think for the most part a lot of them did. But I feel like most people in the Conservative, like, because I often refer to the Tories as but then there's some people in the Tory party, like there's a couple old guys that love Europe and they
There's
talk
sort of
about it. And
everything.
like,
There's some worse than
like
others.
yeah. There was one that I really liked, and she left, and she's in the independent group now. But fuck the independent group. That's my story.
I agree. But I would just love if the history books read, if it just went down in history that Boris was just prime minister for less than a day. That would just
Like the
be so
2 hour prime
incredible.
minister. That
Do you
would
know
be
what I
funny.
mean?
I read somewhere that apparently Trump's administration is trying to do everything they can to stop Jeremy Corbyn coming into power.
Of course, they
somewhere.
are. No,
That's classic.
it's all cyclical. Like not cyclical. It's all connected. You know what I mean? Like Russia got Trump to power. Trump's going to get Boris to power. Do you know what I mean?
It's a massive chain.
It's the great chain of being.
My dad, famously a conservative, I don't think I've told this in the podcast, but the other day,
I'm very excited.
I'm an accountant with my dad. It's fascinating.
We get it, yeah.
The other day, my dad was sitting there and he's on his computer, and all of a sudden he went, and I was like, "What's so funny, Dad?" And he's like, "I'm just reading this article about tax," and I'm like,
As we all are, at some point in the day.
A funny one. And then he spent 2 hours explaining the joke to me. He was like, "Do you get it?" And I was like,
I love it.
That was
Very
that
good.
was so-
Very good.
very good. That was so good.
Do you know the joke?
I
was very excited for you to tell us the joke
I could
now.
explain to you why it's funny on directors' remunerations, but honestly, it's
I would love to.
it's not worth the 5-minute explanation, I must say.
Wow.
Well, I am bitterly disappointed.
I must say. No. That's a sad. That's a sad one. We need that's a for happy times. This is.
Have we got a sad one? We could just.
Is it this one?
that was pretty sad.
Wait, do you mean this one?
No,
No,
it's just emotional.
no.
Here's one for
That's not sad.
That's,
Oh, that's hot.
No. No,
wait, where's it?
oh,
That's quite sad.
it's not really
not
sad. It's more
sad,
just negative.
but it's a negative emotion.
So
On that note, honestly, I think I've covered off everything that was in my head that I need to get off my chest. We've
Yeah.
tackled some big issues once
big
more.
issues, huge issues.
I do not have the music just yet, but
How disappointing.
at this point, at this very time
don't.
next week,
Next week.
we will be in some emotional, beautiful
my.
outro music. And everybody's going to be like crying, and
They
it'll
will
be
be.
gorgeous.
It'll be
I'm
incredible.
going to do it to the tune of the Soviet national anthem. I've
Oh,
just decided
that
right
would be
now.
beautiful. So if you're out there, don't take any selfies because more dangerous than shark attacks.
Absolutely.
Um,
But shark, not infested waters. They live there.
they live there.
Pay mortgages.
Balance. Who do you think you are?
Literally.
Fucking hell. Sharks have rights too.
Wilmslow does not have any fast food.
No Mackies and
But
Wilmslow.
if you live in Wilmslow,
Honestly, this has been a really fucking bummer of an episode, to be honest. People dying, taking selfies, no Mackies and Wilmslow. Well, I think we should
Honestly,
at least start a
next
petition
week-
for them.
Honestly, next week I'm going to bring with me some very happy topics.
Okay.
do you know what I mean?
Some fun-filled, fun
Yeah,
ones.
absolutely.
But until then,
Do you know what I mean?
you stay plummy, you mother plumbers.
In this instance, staying plummy is a negative emotion.
Oh no, I'm not sure.
No,
I
I don't
that.
like that.
Staying
No, no,
plummy
no,
is
no.
always positive.
Stay plummy.
Until
well-
next time, goodbye.